Yes, you clicked on the video for one reason and one reason alone. You want to know what ring could possibly be a relic. Before we get started with today's video, I'd like to talk about today's sponsor, me, Selectorch. Yeah, that's right. If you subscribe to my channel and join my Discord server, you'll actually be able to access all my cool and quirky fun builds. And better yet, you'll be able to ping and pester me about any sort of YouTube advice you'd ever hope for. So if any of those things interest you or are appealing to you, I highly suggest you join the server. If not, suit yourself. You might be missing out, but who really knows? First off, to truly understand what makes the ring I'm talking about so powerful, we need to polish up on your Deepwoken knowledge a bit and get you to understand some secret hidden facts about mantra damage. The way mantra damage is calculated is made up of three parts, which are levels, the level which your mantra is currently on, scaling, the amount of song chant you have on your character, and base damage, the baseline of damage your mantra does at level 1. These three parts are then added up together, resulting in your total mantra damage. Now that your brain has been dusted off a bit, we can actually start to discuss the true potential of this item. For this specific video, we are going to be discussing Selectorch, a mantra that a lot of you may or may not know does a lot of damage at level 1. The beauty of Selectorch and the main selling point is that it has high base damage, and that's exactly what we're looking for, as you're able to get the fullest extent out of this relic ring. I'm going to repeat myself, but I feel like I should make this apparent. To really make the most out of this ring, you want to look for high base damage. Mantras like Radiant Kick and Selectorch are good examples of this. You can't really be using mantras like Lightning Beam, which have very low base damage but incredible scaling, as you will not be utilizing this relic ring to the fullest extent. If you haven't guessed it by now, the relic ring in question really isn't a relic, but just an ordinary ring of casters. That's fine though, as you'll come to see, this ring is actually more useful than any Lightkeeper medallion ever could be. I'll explain why too. Now, recall to what the functionality of the Ring of Casters actually is. It states that it increases mantra damage by 10% but reduces melee damage by 10%. Now, if you are familiar with today's Deepwoken, you are probably more than accustomed to what the meta actually is. And if you have been following along to my lecture, you probably know exactly what I'm going to say next. Increasing mantra damage by 10% on a skill with high base damage like Selectorch with no real investment into your attunement results in higher damage potential than any light attack or critical attack could ever hope for, with the exception of builds that consist of, of course, Silent Heart Oath. With all that being said, yes, the Ring of Casters is an all-powerful ring that Dawnwalkers or mantra builds should equip by default with no questions asked. It is hands down one of the best items in the game and should really be considered a relic, as it has passed the test of time itself by avoiding any sort of removal or nerfs at all. A lot of people are starting to catch on to this too, as they are making builds that consist of Lose Your Mind, Piercing Will, Charismatic Cast with low invested attunements that have high damaging mantras, all while dumping 5 to 6 song chant to increase the scaling of their moves and getting 25% to even 30% extra pen, and to top it all off, equipping the Ring of Casters to get that final 10% damage boost to maximize their damage output to the fullest extent. There you have it, guys. I explained the Deepwoken mage meta. This pretty much sums up 90% of the builds you encounter in Chime, as all, if not most, rely on mantra damage to deal a large portion of their damage in their fights. That's pretty much all. If you guys want more videos like this one, be sure to like and subscribe. Oh yeah, and I did pretty well in my quiz today, so that's a plus up for me, right? But peace, guys. See ya.